Welcome everyone. Can you all hear me? Welcome all. Can you all hear me, please? If you can, please type yes in your chat box just to make sure our sound and lights are working properly. Can you all hear me? Hello? Oh, thank you, Anjali. Thank you, Narayan. Thank you, Asha. Thank you, Hemant. So we will wait for another 7 minutes because it's 7 minutes short of 9 here in Canada and 7 minutes short of 6:30 p.m. in India. So we'll wait for 5 to 7 minutes more and then we'll start the session. Just stay there. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, to whoever is in Canada and America, and good evening to everyone in India. So, I welcome you all for today's Bhagavad Gita class. Thank you so much for joining. And as the time goes by, more and more people will join. Uh, Good evening, Bhavna. Good evening, Hari Kumar. Good morning, Helen. Um, so, let's begin our today's session. Now, last week we covered chapter number 1 and part of chapter number 2, and we are going to continue our journey. And before we begin, we are going to recapitulate some of the learnings we did in last week, and then we'll continue with part of second chapter, which we did not discuss, and then continue with the topic of third chapter, which is karma. So first chapter, part of second chapter, and today we will start with the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Before we begin, we usually do a mantra meditation, which is to invoke all the auspiciousness around us. So the mantra is on your screen. You can repeat the mantra wherever you are, at your home, or at your place of work, or wherever you are. Just sit straight, close your eyes, and repeat the mantra along with me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So with that mantra invocation, we will begin our Bhagavad Gita study today. I will briefly revise our teachings, which we discussed in last week. And our teachings are based on book Bhagavad Gita as it is. It was translated from Sanskrit to English by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And this Bhagavad Gita has been translated into more than 64 languages of the world. And this is called as it is because every word is explained from Sanskrit to English in this book. So we can understand the Bhagavad Gita theoretically as well as practically from this book. Now, as we mentioned last time, this course is for beginners, and you don't have to have any knowledge about Sanskrit language. In this course, we will learn understanding and practical application of Bhagavad Gita, which is very important component of this course, that we need to know why we need to learn Bhagavad Gita when it was spoken 5,000 years ago. Is it still applicable in today's life? And there will be, we have video presentations, audio presentations, and there will be question answers during the sessions. Briefly about myself, many of you already know about myself, but those who are joining for the first time, my name is Dr. Prashant Jani. I am a physician working here in Canada. I'm working here for the last 20 years, and I am working with the Cancer Center. I also teach at the medical school here in Canada. And Bhagavad Gita is my passion. I have been teaching Bhagavad Gita for the last 15 years. And I have learned and obtained a degree called as Bhakti Shastri in 2004. And since then, I have been teaching Bhagavad Gita. I'm practicing Bhagavad Gita under the guidance of my guru, my teacher. His name is Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, who is the follower of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Now, objectives of this course. Our course objectives are to learn the basics of Bhagavad Gita, try to understand the meanings of important shlokas. There are total 700 shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. Shloka means mantras or verses. Those who are not familiar with the word shloka, shloka means important mantras or important verses from Bhagavad Gita. So we'll understand those verses and try to understand meaning and application of it in our daily life. That is our objective. So first chapter of Bhagavad Gita we discussed last time is called as Arjuna Vishad Yoga. There are a few important characters in Bhagavad Gita. They are characters from Mahabharata, and Arjun is the prime character of Bhagavad Gita. Arjun represents all of us. Whatever the situation Arjuna is at this time in Bhagavad Gita, we maybe or we may face similar situation in our life at this time or in the future. So whatever questions and answers, questions Arjuna is asking, answers are Lord Krishna giving, they are as if Arjuna is speaking on our behalf to Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna is the speaker of Bhagavad Gita who is answering the questions of real life. And other two characters, as you can see on this picture, that there is Arjuna lamenting on the chariot. And here on the left hand side, you can see two characters. One is blind King Dhritarashtra. He was blind from the birth, and he was elder brother. However, he was not given the kingdom because he was blind, and he had enviness in his heart. And because of that enviness, his children, elder son was Duryodhana, they also became envious, and they devised various plots to kill Pandavas, and they illegally took away the possession of the kingdom of Pandavas. Now the person sitting on the floor in front of blind King Dhritarashtra, his name is Sanjaya, and Sanjaya is the secretary of Dhritarashtra, and he is describing to Dhritarashtra whatever is happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. This Sanjaya had a special vision which was called divine vision or Divya Drashti, and because of which he was able to hear what was happening in battlefield of Kurukshetra. So first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the theme of the first chapter is dealing with confusion and lack of decision making. Now my question to you all is, those who recently joined, do you ever, somebody's saying that my voice is low. Is that with everybody or with some people? Is my voice low for everybody? Okay, yeah. Okay, perfect, yeah. So maybe those who are having my voice low can adjust their volume accordingly. Okay, great. Thank you so much for your feedback. So my question to you all is, do we all face lack of decision making in our life? Or do we all face confusion in our life at some point or other? Do you all have this problem? Sometimes dealing with our family and friends, sometimes in the business part, sometimes in the education part, like those who are students may face decision making or confusion while selecting their courses. Those who are in daily life, our life has a decision making every second. Every second is a decision making. And we have lots of choices in our life. And we get confused. Yes, to do or not to do. Many times we have these problems. So Arjuna here has the same dilemma what we have, decision making. Life is all about decision making. What we decide will decide our present, and it will decide our future. And accurate decision making is very important component of success in the life. And this is what we are going to learn from Bhagavad Gita, that how we can take decisions so that we do not get confused and we do not worry about it once we take the decision. Having a clear vision, that is what is all about Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita gives us a clear vision about decision making. So chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita, last time we talked about, I'm going to summarize brief. It deals with two main components or concepts. One is the arrangement of army on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and second is the Arjuna's confusion, Arjuna's compassion, Arjuna's surrender. These are the main points. Now, Shloka number 1, which is verse number 1 to verse number 26. If you have Bhagavad Gita at your home, please read Bhagavad Gita. So when you are reading Bhagavad Gita, those who will open the book for the first time may get confused because of the language and because of the orientation or the contents of Bhagavad Gita. If you have no background of Mahabharata, it becomes really difficult to read all the shlokas. So when you are going to start your reading, shloka number 1 to shloka number 26, which is verse number 1 to 26, is all about description of army on the battlefield. Now, why are we talking about army here? Because the background in which this conversation happening is a battlefield. The battlefield name is Kurukshetra, which is the place in India near Delhi where we can visit at this time also. So this is first 26 shlokas is all about army description, that names of the warriors are there, who are the people assembled, what is the strength of everybody. That is what is mentioned in first 26 shlokas. Next concept, which is the confusion of Arjuna, lamentation of Arjuna, and lack of decision making, and the reason behind it is mentioned in shloka number 27 to 46. And that is what briefly we covered. We will revise that again. So that is Arjuna's lamentation or Arjuna's inability to take a decision and the cause behind it. So as I said, these are the two people who are one of the important characters, blind king. His name is Dhritarashtra, and his assistant Sanjaya, who is describing entire scene of battlefield. Now here you can see on the screen that there is a chariot in the middle of armies. There are two armies on either side, and hundreds and thousands of soldiers have assembled on this battlefield of Kurukshetra. Now, this war of Mahabharata was fought 5,000 years ago, and this was even bigger than any of the world war ever we have heard about, because the number of soldiers involved in this war were in millions of people. And before the war was about to begin, Arjuna asked Lord Krishna, who became the driver of Arjuna's chariot, that can you please drive my chariot, take me in between the two armies. So Lord Krishna brings the chariot in between the two armies. And at that time, Arjuna sees that on one side is his own brothers like Yudhishthir, Bhim, Nakul, Sahadev. These are the names of the brothers. And then the people associated with them. On the other side, he sees his own cousins. They are called Kauravas, and there were 100 Kauravas. And then there were other senior people like his own guru, Dronacharya, his grandfather, Bhishma Pitama, which were on the opposite side. In our life also, sometimes we have this battle. We have to choose between our duty versus our relationships. This is a very big dilemma, and which is in Sanskrit or in Hindi sometimes is called as dharma sankat. Dharma sankat means that you are caught. What should I do now? Those who are married would have this experience. Sometimes on one side is your wife, and on one side is your mother, and there is a dharma sankat. Similarly, there are many alternative options in our life, and we are all caught in this dharma sankat, that what should I do? So Arjuna has a problem. The problem is that his duty as a soldier is to fight. We all have a dharma. Dharma means a duty. And Arjuna has dharma, which is to fight as a soldier. But on the other side, he has another dharma as another duty or another responsibility as a cousin brother or as a nephew or as a grandson, all this, or as a student, as a disciple. So now Arjuna is confused. What should I be doing? One of my duty as a soldier is to fight, and another my duty as cousin brother or as a student is to pay respect to my teacher or pay respects to my grandfather who is assembled here, and everybody is there to fight. So Arjuna becomes really, really confused. And at that time, Arjuna gives lots of arguments to Lord Krishna that, Lord Krishna, I am not able to decide. Why should I be killing my own cousin brothers or my grandfather or my teacher? Even though they are willing to fight, I am not willing to fight. So what does he says to Lord Krishna? He says, Vepasthu cha sharire me romaharshasta jayate gandivam shamaste hastat tvakchaiva paridayate. So he's saying to Lord Krishna that my whole body is trembling, shivering. Sometimes we are faced in a very difficult situation. We become really nervous, depressed, and then our body starts shivering. He says, my hair is standing on. Roma harshasta jayate. Roma means the hairs which are on our body. There are innumerable hairs, and at some points we become so much emotional that our hairs stand on. And he says, Gandivam shamaste hastat. Gandiva is the bow which Arjuna used to use it. And this bow was gifted to Arjuna by Lord Shiva. And he says, Tvakchaiva paridahyate, which means that his skin is also burning. And he says, Lord Krishna, I am not able to take any decision. I am really confused. And literally he starts crying actually. There will be certain points in our life when we all cry. And the cry may be because of sufferings we go through, or sufferings one of our family members or friends is undergoing through. And at that time, we become confused. And that is where we need help. We don't need help in day-to-day life, probably. Most of us are healthy, happy, and we don't need help. But then it's not that when there is a fire, you go and find water or the source to remove the fire. We need to be prepared. That's why we have fire alarms in our house or fire extinguishers in our house. It's not that you're going to find the fire extinguisher when there is a fire. You always keep the fire extinguisher or fire alarm in your home so that when there is a fire, we have something to fight with. And that is what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. It is preparing us for that situation which we may face or which might be facing, or it might be happening with one of our family or friends. And that is what is all about. So Bhagavad Gita is like a user manual. Every computer or every electronic items which comes with a manual. Now manual says that how to operate it, how to troubleshoot it, and so many instructions about the operations of the machine. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita is a user manual. It teaches us how we can live our life perfectly, without much of a confusion, without a lamentation, or without any distress or unhappiness. So Arjuna is lamenting here, and he decides that he's not going to fight. So now I have a question for all of you, and I will request all of you that you can type in your chat box. Now, one housekeeping instruction is that many of you are joining with your smartphones. Now, when you join with your smart box and you open the chat box to type your answer, after you type your answer, then if you want to go to the main screen, on the left hand side, there will be a small arrow. You press that arrow only once, and then you will go to, you will go to the main screen. If you press it twice, it will log you out of the program. So then you will have to log it in again. So you just either press only once, or you can even slide your screen and it works also. That's just a small housekeeping item, but if you log out, just log in again and you will be fine. Yes, that's right. You can slide the screen to left and right. That's correct. So now there are 4 questions for you. Why is Arjuna decides not to fight? 4 options for you. One is compassion. He was compassionate towards his family and friends. B is he was fearful of sinful reactions if he kills his cousins and seniors. C is loss of support and security of family members of the soldiers. And D is all of the above. So he was compassionate towards the family members and friends. B is he was fearful of sinful reactions if he kills his people over there. And third is he's worried that family members of those soldiers will lose the support and security. And and the last choice is D, all of the above. So those who have read Bhagavad Gita or heard last week's session will be able to answer this question. Everybody's answering D. Some people are answering A. Some people are answering B. That's a good attempt. A, D, B, D. Yeah, I see that there are lots of choices here. Everybody's answering. Majority of the answers are D, looks like, from the survey. And yes. So thank you all. Let's discuss this now. Now the answer for this question is D. So if you read first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, then Arjuna will give various arguments to Lord Krishna that he is not going to fight, because he says he is compassionate. He says that I don't want to kill my family members and friends. Why should I kill them? That is called compassion. Second is that he also argues with Lord Krishna that if I kill them, it's sinful to kill anyone. I mean, when we kill an insect, also it's sinful. So he says that I am really worried about the sins which will be created while fighting this war. And third is he's giving argument to Lord Krishna that who will support wives and children of the soldiers who are going to die in this battlefield. Now, so the real answer is D, that he is giving all these arguments to Lord Krishna. Now, real problem here is that because of these arguments, and this is because of this lack of decision making, Arjuna decides that he's not going to fight. and he puts aside his bow and arrow, and he sat down on the chariot, and his mind was overwhelmed with the grief that he is not able to fight here in this battle. Now, why do we need to know about this? Very important application of this is that we forget our duty sometimes. Forgetfulness of duty is one of the most important cause of failure in our life. We have various duties, as I mentioned before, that our duties as a father, our duty as a mother, our duty as a doctor or an engineer or a businessman, or we have all these duties. And sometimes these duties conflict with each other. And one of them takes over the other. And here in this case, Arjuna is forgetting about his duty as a soldier because he has a compassion. Now, he was a soldier. Imagine there is a war going on between India and Pakistan, or two countries, for example, and the commander-in-chief of the army says that he is not going to fight this war because he doesn't want to kill anybody on the other side. Now, is this a true compassion? If he doesn't fight, then what will happen? The enemy will invade our country, and it will destroy our country. So what is the duty of a soldier at the time of war? Or another analogy can be, suppose a thief has entered your house, and you are in your house, and you are the elder family member, and all other are dependent on you. You are the chief of your house, and the thief he starts hurting or killing your family members and friends, or he starts taking over the entire possession of your whole house. What do you do now? Do you become compassionate that if I hurt him, then what will happen? No, it is your duty as a family elder to protect your family members, and in that you might have to hurt the thief who is entering your house. So here is the principle of your duty, that you have a duty which is a prime duty. The major duty is to protect your family members and friends, and here Arjuna had the prime duty as a Kshatriya. Kshatriya means to protect. And he forgets his duty to protect the people from the enemy because of false compassion. So first chapter of Bhagavad Gita tells us that if we are using our fine emotions, we have lots of emotions with us, love, anger, or compassion. These are finer emotions. However, if we use them in a wrong way, then we fail. Miserably, we can fail. Analogy of this compassion can false compassion or true compassion. Here is the picture of a lady, and the lady is polishing the cage. Can you all appreciate it? Now, what is happening to the bird inside it? Just type what you feel about this. Is this a true compassion or a false compassion? She is looking after the cage, and the bird is dying. It's a false compassion, that you are worried about the shelter of the bird, and you are providing the nice protection to the bird, but you are not feeding the bird. The bird is dying actually, right? It's a false compassion here. Or another false analogy of false compassion can be that suppose somebody is dying because of drowning. Somebody is merged in the water, drowning in the water. And while that man is drowning, you are trying to save his clothes. What is important? Saving the man is important, or the clothes is important, right? So compassion has to be applied in a right manner. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us that we have to be really, really practical while using our emotions. If emotions takes over us, then we fail miserably in our decision making. Suppose a doctor who is going to operate a patient, if doctor becomes compassionate and his emotions of compassion starts taking over him, he may not be able to even operate. And some of the people faint by looking at the blood because they become compassionate. However, a doctor has a duty. So he's putting his emotion aside and he operates the patient, and the patient is saved. So our compassion has to be applied. Our emotions has to be used in the right manner. Now, second application of Bhagavad Gita. Now, if you can see that in entire first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna does not speak a single word. He is just hearing Arjuna. And what we learn from this is that we have to learn the art of listening. Listening is very, very important component of our life. Listening is just like showing love. If you love someone, you listen to that person. So Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, Lord Krishna doesn't speak anything. He just hears from Arjuna. Now, there are 5 kinds of listeners, and we talked about it last time, but those who are joining for the first time, I'm going to revise that for the benefit of everyone. First is ignorant in listening. I don't know, many of you are online now, and how good listening is yours. But some people, they just ignore you, even if you are telling them something, they don't want to listen. Now, second type of listeners are, they pretend that they are listening, but they are not listening. First kind, they are outright ignorant. They just don't listen to you. Second is they pretend, but they don't. Third is the selective listeners, which means that they will take one or few sentences here and there, but they won't listen the whole talk or whole conversation. Fourth type of listeners are the attentive listeners. This is a very good type of listeners who pay attention to every detail and they remember it. But then there are fifth type of listeners, which are active listeners. Active listeners, they hear, they understand, they meditate, they digest. Digest means that they ask questions actually, that is this true, is this false, how can I use it in our day-to-day life, like that, and then they apply that knowledge in our life. So you guys can decide what type of listeners you want to be. Arjuna also was a listener when when Krishna was speaking, and Arjuna was also an active listener, because after listening entire Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna actually applied it in his life. So our goal is all these exercises that we want to be active listeners, and that is why we have questions or quizzes during this. So I have a quiz for you. Now there are 4 choices on your screen. What is the false compassion compared? Number 1, fire covered by the smoke. B is polishing the cage, ignoring the bird. C is killing the demon of misunderstanding. Or D is all of this. Absolutely. People are answering B and everybody is answering the B. Looks like everybody has got the message that polishing the cage, ignoring the bird is a false compassion. Now, why am I talking about this? Let's go to that slide again and see what is the false compassion about. So here in this picture, you can see that there is a cage and there is a bird inside it. Now, cage represents our body also, and the bird represents our soul, Atma, inside it. And we talked about it last time that we are always compassionate about bodily well-being of ourselves or others, but we are not compassionate about spiritual well-being of others. So it is very important to be compassionate about bodily well-being. So if somebody has a physical problem, yes, definitely we will help them. We try to um, provide the medicine. As a doctor, we provide medicine, provide some sort of dressing or whatever the things required. But along with that, the spiritual care is very important component of our life. And that is what is missing nowadays in our care or compassion, that we don't know about the spiritual component of our life, and if we don't know about ourselves, then how can we help spiritually to others? Because it is found that those people who are spiritually strong, they can fight most dangerous diseases. There is a science called as psychoneuroimmunology, which says that people who have a cancer, they can fight cancer in a better way if they are internally spiritually very strong. Because when you are spiritually strong, your immune power is very, very high. And these people, I have seen many cases, patients get recovered from very unpredictable circumstances. And they're just because they are spiritually or internally very strong. And that is what is all about in life. Outside you may be very strong, but if we are weak from inside, if we are not spiritually strong, then that strength has little use. So Bhagavad Gita is teaching us about how can we spiritually strong, and that we can do it by applying the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in day-to-day life. So now that was all about first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and now we are moving to second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Now, second chapter of Bhagavad Gita has two important concepts. One is Lord Krishna is teaching to Arjuna about Sankhya Yoga, and the second component of it is Buddhi Yoga. So two yoga concepts are introduced in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and we talked about Sankhya Yoga last time. So I'm just going to go over briefly. Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna that he says when Arjuna is becoming very compassionate, which is a false compassion, then Lord Krishna tells to Arjuna that, hey Arjuna, this is called as Shudram Hridaya Durbalyam. Shudram means very weak. Your heart has become very weak. Durbalyam. Hridaya means heart. So because of these emotions, your heart has become very, very, very weak, and you are not able to take decisions. So he says that, oh son of Prutha, get over this weakness of heart, and you fight with the enemy. But even after telling that, Arjuna is not listening. So Arjuna argues with Lord Krishna, and he says that, oh Krishna, if you are telling me, but how can I kill my superiors? If I'm a strong-hearted person, but even though with a strong-hearted person, how can I kill my superiors, my grandfather, my teacher? It's almost impossible for me to fight this war. And at one point in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says that I will prefer to be a beggar rather than to kill this and fight this war. So here Arjuna says, I don't care about the outcome of this war, but I just don't want to fight this war. So he becomes very, very, very weak, very, very emotionally very weak. And he then further tells to Lord Krishna that Shishyateham sadimam tvam prapannam. So this second chapter, 7th shloka, is a turning point in entire Bhagavad Gita. He says to Lord Krishna that I am not able to find any means to drive away this grief, which is making me so much emotionally unstable. And I will not be able to drive away this grief even if I win this war, or even if I get the entire kingdom of the earth. So he says, now I'm confused. And I'm confused about everything, actually. I'm confused about my duty. I'm confused about my work. What should I do now? And then he says, I am now surrendering unto you. I am your disciple. I am your student. And this is where Lord Krishna then starts speaking Bhagavad Gita. So when Lord Krishna is accepted as a teacher or a guru, and Arjun becomes student, then Lord Krishna imparts knowledge to him. This is a very important point to be learned, that unless we have a guru or a teacher, it is very difficult to obtain the knowledge of yoga. We all need teachers in our life. Everything has a teacher. There are various teachers who teach you physical exercises, maths, science. Similarly, we need a teacher who can teach us science of spirituality, or a spiritual master, or a spiritual guru. And Arjuna, at the moment of crisis, accepts a guru or a teacher, and he goes to somebody who can guide him. Now, your guru or your teacher can be your father. Your guru can be your mother. Your guru can be your friend, or your guru can be anybody whom you trust and who has the knowledge, like Lord Krishna had the knowledge. So guru has to be representative of Krishna. It cannot be anybody randomly. He needs to have the qualities. He needs to have I see that somebody saying Ghazala is saying that there is no sound. I think Ghazala, everybody has the sound. Everybody can hear me. You can check the sound at your end, Ghazala. Sorry about that. So we need to have a guru, but the guru has to be right type of guru. There are some cheating gurus available on the planet, and we have to be very careful about those cheater gurus. Cheater cannot be guru, so I would not call them even a guru. But we have to be really careful when we surrender to somebody. The qualifications of a guru is that he needs to have walk his talk, and what is the discipline he's following? What is the parampara? What is the hierarchy system that guru comes into it? So all those things are very important. So now Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna, and he says that Shishyateham sadimam tvam prapannam. Prapannam means to surrender. So Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna, and he says, please, please, please tell me what should I be doing now. Then Lord Krishna, he is refusing to fight. Arjuna is refusing to fight, and he expresses his mind to his spiritual master, and he decides not to fight. So as I mentioned there, that we all need spiritual master to come out of the material perplexities. And we need proper guidance to execute the purpose of life. We have various types of problems, in our life. Just like forest fire. Forest fire starts without any warning. Similarly, there are various types of problems in our life. Sometimes we face a problem faced by our family and friends, gives us a problem. Sometimes our neighbors will give a problem. Sometimes we face a problem by natural calamities. Nowadays there is a hurricane or thunderstorm or rains or earthquake, or even the current crisis, COVID crisis. This is a big problem nowadays in our life. Some people have a problem of losing the job. Some people have problem of finding the job. Everybody has one or other problem. On this planet, there is no person without problem. So then what do we do? If we succumb to problem, then we suffer. However, if we have a proper guidance to face each and every problem, so how to face material problem, how to face spiritual problems, we need guide, we need guru, we need some advice on this. Like when we are traveling on the highway with a car, we all have a directions with us. We know which directions we are going, which highway we are taking, where we want to go. We need a direction. Without direction, if we travel, we get lost. So we all need directions, and that direction for journey in our life is given to us by a guru or a spiritual master. And that is why we all have to work on this, so that now guru can be a book also. Like there is a community in India, it's called Punjabi or Sikh community. They have accepted a book called Granth Sahib as a guru. And they literally follow every word of Sikh community, will follow the words which are mentioned in the book, Granth Sahib, and they accepted Granth Sahib as a guru. So Bhagavad Gita can also be our guru. Guru can be in the form of Vapu or Vani. Vapu means the person, or Vani means the instructions. So guru can be on any form. However, if you have a personal guru, Vapu guru, then you can understand the application part of it also. So that is very important of it. Now, question for all of you. Why Arjuna realizes that he's confused and lost his composure? So Arjuna thinks that he's not able to fight and he's confused. There are 4 choices for you. First is because he is a Brahmana. He was acting like a Brahmana. Brahmana is the person who is very kind, very compassionate, very sober. Number 2 choice is because of his false compassion. Number 3, because of he was a soldier. Or number 4 is because of his ill health. So why he is confused, why he has lost his composure. Maybe all of you can take part of it. B, everybody's answering B. Absolutely. So Arjuna realizes that he is confused, and the reason being that false compassion. And I'm highlighting this point again because our emotions are very powerful. Compassion is one of the emotion, and emotions interfere our decision making. And sometimes to take a call on a particular duty, we have to keep aside our emotions, and you have to take a decision at that particular time. That is the part of the success. If we become too emotional, then we keep on crying. And if we keep on crying, we become depressed. And if we become depressed, we fail miserably. Sometimes we fail in a business. Nowadays, because of this current COVID crisis, lots of people have lost jobs. But what we do? We have lost economy, we have lost our people, manpower, lots of people have died. However, at this time, instead of becoming too much emotional, let's use some guidance from the higher authority, from Bhagavad Gita and from our spiritual guides, and overcome this difficult time. So difficult times will be always in our life. There is not a single point in our life where we will not have difficulties. However, instead of becoming weak from inside, we become strong by understanding. And next question for you is, finally Arjuna accepts Lord Krishna as a friend, spiritual master, disciple, none of the above. A, B, C, D. What did Krishna do? What does Arjuna do? He accepts Krishna as a friend. Somebody is saying friend, somebody is saying spiritual master, disciple, none of the above. Most of you are answering B, and that is absolutely correct answer. B is the correct answer. Why? Because a spiritual master, now, there is a difference in the friendship and difference in the relationship of a teacher and difference in a relationship of a friend. A teacher can point out the mistakes of you and you accept them as a higher authority. However, if it is a friendship, then you try to argue. Sometimes when we tell people that, okay, you have done something wrong, can you please correct it? But if it is a friendly relationship, then the person tries to argue with you and he tries to prove that he is right. However, the same mistake, if you have a guru or a teacher, and if he finds and you are surrendered to him, then you will accept him, because he is your well-wisher. A guru is your well-wisher in no matter what circumstances. You might be strong or weak. Guru is always there for you. So Arjuna accepts Lord Krishna as a guru, and at that time Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna about the science of soul. And we talked about this last time. Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna about mind, body, Atma and Paramatma. So the analogy of that was given in last lecture. We talked about it, that our body is compared with a chariot, and our chariot has horses or senses. Our body has various senses, 5 senses basically: eyes, nose, ear, tongue, eyes, nose, ear, tongue, and belly or genitals or skin, you can say. So these are 5 senses. Then all the senses are controlled by the mind, and mind is controlled by our intelligence, which is also called buddhi. So senses are called indriya in Sanskrit, mind is called mana, intelligence is called buddhi, and we are the spirit soul. Bhagavad Gita brings us first to a basic platform. Before beginning any yoga process, we need to understand that we are not this body. We have been given this body by Creator. We are spirit soul by nature, and at this time we are having this human experience. Now Lord Krishna tells to Arjuna that Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantaram prapti dhiras tatrana muyati. So Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna that as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body, from boyhood to youth to old age, soul similarly passes into another body at the time of death. So we all are going to die, right? Actually, in fact, we are currently also, our body is undergoing a change. We are approaching towards the end line or finish line. And there will be a finish line one day or other. The finish line may be today or tomorrow. We all don't know when we will be finished, but there is a time when our body will be finished. So Lord Krishna is telling that, as you can see in this picture, that the body grows. When a child is very small, his body is very small. Then the child grows bigger, the body changes. Then we become like, say, 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, 20, 25. And then our body keeps on changing. So Krishna is saying that as our body changes in this life and acquires the new shape and form, similarly, when at the time of death, the body is dying, you as a soul remains ever eternal. So we are Atma, and the body is temporary, but the Atma is permanent. So that is what Krishna is explaining to Arjuna. And then the Sankhya Yoga mentions that body and soul are distinct. We are not these bodies. Soul is active and the body is inert. Body is the instrument through which we are experiencing this. Now, what is the purpose of this body then? The purpose of the body, just like in the car, a passenger is traveling, right? So as the car and the passenger are distinct, similarly, soul and the body are distinct. Now, this body is given us for main purpose of this body is to travel in this material world and to love others and to serve others. The main purpose of the body. Without body, we cannot serve others. Without body, we cannot love others. So we need a body for expressing our love and emotions towards the others. Now, if you care about the car and not care about the passenger, or if you just care about this cage but not about the Atma within it, then that is of little use. The bird will not be happy. So here Krishna is telling to Arjuna that if you really want to be happy and cheerful, along with taking care of the body, also take care of your Atma. Atma is the main thing here. The bird inside the cage is the main thing. So if you are very much compassionate about the body, but if you're not providing any spiritual compassion, then that is false. So that is the basis of second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So the question for you is, why a self-realized soul is not bewildered by changing the body from boyhood to old age and then at the death. So the person who is self-realized, person who is yogi, person who is full knowledge, he is not worried about changing of the bodies or even about the death, because he knows everything. B is because he believes in next life. C is because in the end everything becomes void. Or D is because spirit soul does not undergo change. So let's put your answers there, A, B, C, D. And I see that 100% people, 100% people, absolutely. So that is the very good understanding that we all are on the same platform. That well, somebody answered A and D. Because he knows everything. Nobody knows everything on this planet, actually. Other than Krishna, nobody knows everything. So we all are imperfect. However, if we know that we are spirit soul and we don't undergo change, our soul does not die. What dies is our body. That is the basis. And on this platform, we are going to build our further discussion. So we finished 30th shloka, second chapter, 30th shloka is the Sankhya Yoga. And that is what we discuss as of now. Now we are going to talk about text number 31 to 38 in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So first was Sankhya Yoga. Now we are talking about Buddhi Yoga. Why do we need to learn about this? Because once we know we are Atma, then what do we do next? What is the next step now? Just knowing that we are spirit soul is not enough. We need to know something more than this, right? So Krishna doesn't leave us at that stage that, okay, you are the spirit soul and that's it. No. Now, with the spirit soul, you have this body. So how do we use this body? And that is called as Buddhi Yoga, or Buddhi means intelligence. Now you have this intelligence with you. So with the intelligence, you perform your action. So that is what Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna about Buddhi Yoga. Now, the advantage of Buddhi Yoga study is that once you study Buddhi Yoga, and Lord Krishna continues this explaining Buddhi Yoga in 3rd chapter and the 5th chapter. So he is called Buddhi Yoga, also called as Karma Yoga. So we are going to talk about it. But the advantage of this is that once we know this and we perform our karma or actions, we become stress-free. And while doing karma also, we don't worry about the outcome of it. So that is what we are going to learn today from 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So there are 2 parts, and then the 2nd chapter, 4th shloka, 14th shloka, Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna, Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshno sukha dukkhadha agamapaino anityas tam satitikshava bharata. Now you can see that I have highlighted different words in different colors, and there is underlining also. So here Krishna is saying that, O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are just like appearance and disappearance of summer and winter seasons. We all have summer, we all have winter. In Canada, we have minus 40 degrees also. And we have plus 35, 39 degrees also. Winters are very harsh here. We live up north here, and those who are hearing this from North America, from Canada, knows how severe are the winters here. People, even those who are born and brought up, can't get adjusted to these winters. And they are really, really stressful sometimes, when we have a storm or something like that. However, we do have a beautiful weathers also. Nowadays, it's a very beautiful weather here, and it's summertime. But then this is a cycle. It comes and it goes. So on your screen, you can see that there is one word called agama and another word apaino. Red and green. Aga means coming and apaino means going. So they will come and go, come and go. So problems will come and problems will go. Nothing is permanent, So he says anitya. So Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna that everything is non-permanent. Like, if it is a good time, like if some of you are doing very well, many of you also are doing very well, but that does not mean that this time will remain as it is. When there is a quiet time, which means that something else is going to come in the future. The problems are always going to be there. So he's saying that anitya. So then what is he saying? Tamsa titikshava bharata, which means that, Bharata is the son or descendant of King Bharat. One must learn to tolerate them. The word here important is titikshava. Titikshava means to tolerate. There are two types of people on this planet. One is called as substantial and second is called as circumstantial people. Now, circumstantial people means that they will be successful if the circumstances are favorable to them. And if circumstances are not favorable, they will try to find excuses. Oh, what can I do? The circumstances are like this. I cannot do anything now. But the people who are substantial, who are titikshava means they have a great strength, inner strength, and they are substantial people, which means that even the times are tough. Current timings are very, very tough for all of us. However, Lord Krishna is saying to Arjuna that if you are titikshava, if you can tolerate this, and then he's going to tell us how to tolerate. It is not that he's just introducing the concept and running away from it, but he's introducing the concept of tolerance here. He's telling that if you are a substantial person, then you can tolerate even good condition or bad condition, good times or bad times. It is not that when there is a good time, we start jumping, and when there is a bad time, we lament or cry. In good time also, we remain stable, and in bad time also, we remain stable. And we are going to learn the technique, how to be stable in good times and bad times. But here I'm introducing a concept of Bhagavad Gita that once we know that everything is temporary, good times are temporary and bad times are temporary. So then we remain equilibrium, in balance. And then we can become chinta mukta. Chinta mukta means free of worries. People keep on worrying about what will happen tomorrow, what will happen day after tomorrow. However, if we know that everything is temporary, this current situation is also temporary. However, we will do our best. As a substantial people, will try to fight against this. And that is what Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna, that you have to tolerate good times and tolerate bad times, because everything will come and go. So don't be too much proud when the good times are there, and don't be too much depressed when we are bad times. So that is about titikshava. We have to be tolerant, and this is very important concept in business also, or in our day-to-day life also. Our colleagues, our family members, friends, sometimes they're good with you, sometimes they are bad with you. What do we do? So they are not on the spiritual platform, so they might come and argue with you or say something bad to you. We just tolerate them at that particular time and move on in our life. So then Krishna tells to Arjuna about intelligence, how to use the intelligence in the difficult times. He says, Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana. Vyavasayatmika. Vyavasayatmika is a very important word here, which means that we have to be really professional. Sometimes we cannot be emotional in all the times. We have to use our intelligence in a very professional way. And ekeha kurunandana, which means that you have to, eka means one. So here Lord Krishna is saying that you have to be really, really focus your determination on one particular aspect at that particular time. What is your prime duty in that particular scenario? What is your prime role in that particular scenario? And if you remain focused for that, your main duty, then your emotions will not be able to take over it. And then we have to be, there are various scriptures. There is one scripture which is called Nectar of Instruction, or Upadenshamrita, where it is mentioned here that if you want to stay focused, then very important concept is called as Anukulyasya Sankalpa. Anukulya means favorable, and Sankalpa means determination. So we have to accept the things which are favorable at that particular time for that particular circumstances and our which supports our duty or our target. And Pratikulyasya Varjanam, which means that give up the things which are not favorable. We have to be really focused while we are doing our duty. For example, a student has a duty to study because the exams are coming up. Now, Anukulyasya Sankalpa means he has to stay focused and accept the things which will help in study. And Pratikulyasya Varjanam, which means that give up the things which will not help him to focus in the study. So in all the aspects of our life, we have, every time we are doing certain duties. Now my duty is like as a teacher. At this time I'm teaching. So I will accept everything which is favorable at this time, and I will give up anything which is not favorable. Pratikulyasya Varjanam. Pratikul means which is not favorable. So at this particular time, if I'm talking to so many people, I think there are more than 92 people at this time. And I'm really, I have to be focused. I have to avoid anything which distracts me, my duty as a teacher. Similarly, if we are doing a duty as a father, I'm talking to my son or I'm talking to my daughter, I have to be very focused at that particular time because that is my duty as a father. Then when I go to the hospital, I work as a doctor, I have to be focused in that particular duty. At that time, I have to take all the decisions which are favorable in that particular circumstances. So always you have to stay focused in that particular scenario. So here Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, Bahu shakhai anantasya buddho avyavasayinam. Now he says that if you are Bahu shaka means if you have too many things going on at the same time, then there is a problem. Then you can be really in disturbance, and now your duty as a soldier is to fight, and that is your main duty. Now if you think about another duty, then you will get confused, and then you will lose your focus or concentration. So some people they do meditation. I don't know how many of you do meditation. Type yes if you're doing meditation every day or sometimes in your life. How many of you are meditators? Yes, I see a lot of people meditate actually. Wonderful. Well, I'm really glad all of you meditate, and those who are doing meditation and those who are not doing meditation also have this experience that as soon as you sit for meditation, your mind starts wandering here and there. Is that right? Many of you, try this. If you haven't done, just close your eyes and sit and try to do meditation. Try to focus your mind on your breathing, and you can focus for some time. But then after a while, your mind starts wandering here and there. Because Bahushaka, Because we are engaged in too many things, our mind is not able to focus. So here Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna that Ekeha Kurunandana, do one thing at a time, and that thing is that you become focused in that particular duty. Then Lord Krishna is saying, this is a very famous shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Many people know this shloka. However, the most amount of misunderstanding is about this shloka. So most misunderstood and most famous shloka of Bhagavad Gita. So let's talk about it. So here Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna he's introducing the concept of Karma Yoga here. And then he will continue that in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which we're going to talk. So he's telling to Arjuna, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phal heturbhur ma te sangostava karmani. So what is he saying? He says that Karmanya eva adhikaraste. So he says, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna that your goal is karma. Karma eva adhikaraste. Eva means only. Adhikar means right, or your only thing which you are allowed to do or allowed to claim the proprietary is karma. Karma means action, your duty. Karmanye eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma means do not, So he says you may or may not get fruits. Phala means fruit. Like if you see a tree has various components. There are roots, then there is a stem, then the branches, and there is a fruit. Lord Krishna is telling us that eva adhikar, only adhikar means right or proprietorship is on your only proprietorship is your duty, or only right you have is your duty. But most of the time we all are worried about the fruit. What will I get if I do this? If I join Bhagavad Gita class, what will I get it? Will I get some money? Will I get something? Then only I will do it. Otherwise I will not do it. And that is the main cause of failure in our life. And that is what Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna, that Arjuna, you are failing here because you are worried about the fruits. You are not focusing on your karma. Your goal post is changing. Our goal post has to be our karma, our action. And if you change your goal post, then you cannot achieve the goal properly. If you focus on the fruit and don't water the root of the tree, so there is a tree and there is a root where you pour the water, but then now you're concerned about the fruit. So you're not focusing on the root. So you're not focusing on the root and you're focusing on the fruit. You're not watering the tree and you are wondering, oh, when will the fruit come? Will fruit ever come? I don't think so. Because you are not watering the tree. So what Krishna is saying to Arjuna, Karmanya eva adhikara. Eva means only, adhikar means right. You have only one job. What is your job? Do your work. Do your karma. Give your 100% in whatever the responsibility you have taken. Now, you may get the fruit or may not get the fruit. You may be successful or you may be failing. Doesn't matter. Arjuna is worried about the outcome of the result. He's saying, if I fight this war, if I kill my family and friends, what will happen to them? What will happen to their friends? What will happen to their children? He's worried about so many things. Bahu shakhai anantascha. What is Krishna saying? Your duty at this time is to fight as a soldier. Just focus on that. And if you don't act, then you will not get any fruits. You will be miserably failing. So some of us are focused on fruits, that when will this pandemic will end, when the COVID will end, then I will do this, and then I will get the money and I will get the job. Krishna is saying, no, 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 no. You're not going to focus on when that will end. You are going to focus on now, at this time, what is your job as a duty, as a father, mother, teacher, whatever is the job you are. Find out what is the best you can do to be active in this particular time. And then you can take it from there, as the time goes further. So then further Krishna says, Apuryamana machalam pratishtham samudramapaha pravishyanti yadvad tadvad kamayam pravishyanti sarve sashanti apnoti na kama kami. So what is Lord Krishna is saying? That while you are trying to focus, there will be many problems. So we are doing our duty. We are trying to focus. We have understood that, yes, we should be focused in our duty. But then our mind is very chanchala. Chanchala means that it fluctuates, sometimes here, sometimes there, and our mind always distracts us. So Lord Krishna is saying that a person who is not disturbed by incessant flows of desires, so while we are doing our duty, we will have lots of desires. Desires means worrying about the fruits or worrying about the obstacles. But then Krishna is saying that all these desires are just like rivers entering into the ocean. Now, ocean is ever being filled with all the rivers, but it always remains still. Similarly, one who can control the desires can achieve the peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy these desires. So lots of desires will enter. And how the desires enter? All the desires, like suppose somebody is studying and then he starts feeling like, oh, now I should go and eat something. Now it's the time to study. Why to distract yourself? So the desire for eating will come. Or now we are talking about Bhagavad Gita. Some of you are on your cell phone, some of you are on computers, and you might feel like, oh, let me browse something else, my emails, while we are listening to this talk. What is this? So then this is called as desires. The desires, many thoughts will come in your mind at that particular time. But Lord Krishna is saying that stay focused. All the senses will try to drive you away from your target. However, if you stay focused and you're determined, then you can achieve this target of your end result. So Lord Krishna is saying that as all the rivers are entering into the ocean and ocean still remains calm and quiet, similarly lots of thoughts will enter in your mind. However, you just keep those thoughts aside and just focus in your main goal, the main target. What is that particular target at that particular time, and finish that goal. So that is what Krishna is explaining. So now let's go to some question answer session. Let's be a little interactive. This we talked about last week. So let's see how many of you remember about this. What is the size of the soul? We discussed that we are all spirit soul, but how small is this soul? Soul is 1,000 part of the upper portion of the hair point in size, 100,000 part of the upper portion of the hair point in size, 1/10,000 part of the upper portion of the hair point in size, and 1,000,000th part of the upper portion of the hair point in size. So let's see how many of you. This is just a tricky question for you, but then just to recollect something from last week of discussion. And everybody is answering correctly, actually. Wow, amazing. So most of you are active listeners, and I'm really glad that you're doing so good, that our soul is very, very minute. If you take the tip of the hair, I'm taking the tip of the hair, not the whole hair, okay, just the tip. I'm taking the tip of the hair and I'm dividing into 10,000 part. Why need to know about the size of the soul? Because that is what we are. We are such a small entity. We all try to prove that we are very big. I'm a big doctor, I'm a big businessman, I'm this, I'm that, but we are insignificant. If you consider your size, you are insignificant. We might be a president or prime minister, but still, we are a spirit soul, and one day we are going to die one day. So what's the point on being too egoistic about it? And sometimes we identify people with the body. He's black, he's brown, he's green, he's yellow, he's white. There's no point in worrying about the body, actually, because everybody is the same from inside. Outside, you may be different looking, beautiful looking, smart looking, but inside we all are beautiful. So here we need to know about the size of the soul, the color of the soul, the quantity of the soul, all the qualities of soul, because that is what we are. So let's go to the next question. Why should one not be disturbed and tolerate happiness and distress? Because they arise from sense perception, because performing the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in any condition raises one to the platform of knowledge, because by knowledge and devotion only one can liberate oneself from the clutches of Maya. Maya means this illusion, the problems, and all of the above. So why should one tolerate and not get disturbed in the life with happiness and distress? And the answers are absolutely. There is a split vote here. C and D, absolutely. So the real answer is the D, that when we know that, okay, all the disturbance, happiness, distress, it's all temporary. It's all because of sense perception. If we do our duties on our dharma, very important word here is, sometimes people translate the word dharma as a religion, but then here is the principles of religion, which is the duty. Dharma doesn't mean religion. Dharma means the duty or the principle behind that particular obligation or responsibility. If you know that, and then the C choice is, by knowledge and devotion only one can liberate oneself from the bondage. So now we are entering into the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So we finished the second chapter. I have not finished every shloka here during the discussion because the time is limited. But with this background, I request everybody to read the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I have, last week only, I sent a PDF file of Bhagavad Gita to most of you. But if not, then I'm going to send you now. I'm going to share you something on your computer. Just download it. I'm sharing it to you. You can click it and download it. This is a PDF copy of Bhagavad Gita as it is. And I request all of you to read first and second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This will really help you to understand what we discussed today. So now we are entering into the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and somebody had asked a question while we were discussing, and I'm not sure who was the person, but he was asking about good karma and bad karma. And that is what we are going to talk now in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called as Karma Yoga. I think most of you are done with the downloading part. Yes, thank you so much. So now we are going to the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which talks about Karma Yoga. So let's understand the word karma. Karma literally means kriya or actions or activities. However, very important concept in third chapter of Bhagavad Gita is that we are performing our actions not independently. We are performing these actions under the influence of the three modes of nature and the time. So there are governing principles called as nature or prakriti and the time. And it is very important for us to know this prakriti or nature is also called guna. Now, there are three gunas or three modes under which we are always under the influence of. We might claim that we are independent, but we are not actually. Many people say that I am independent. But no, we are not independent. We are always being controlled by time. Time is big controller. If you are rich now, if you're very famous now, there'll be a time when you will fall down. Or if you're very strong now, healthy now, there will be a time when we might fall sick. So time is very big controller of our life. And second controller of our life is called as guna. And there are three gunas or three modes of nature: sattva guna or mode of goodness, mode of passion, which is called as tamoguna, and mode of ignorance, which is called, mode of passion is called rajoguna, and mode of ignorance is called tamoguna. And we're going to learn this little bit in detail. This is based on third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So there are three gunas or three modes, as I mentioned before: sattva guna, rajoguna, and tamoguna. Now, when we are under the mode of sattva guna, then what happens? We have different emotions or feelings. We feel like we should get knowledge. We feel like we should not be doing sinful reactions. And we feel like that we are happy, we are doing nice. Actually, at this time, most of you are in sattva guna, because all of us are seeking knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. We are trying to be staying away from bad things, and we have a sense of happiness, the inner happiness. Then there is a rajoguna, and then there is a tamoguna. Tamoguna is the extreme right corner. And what is tamoguna? When we are under the influence of tamoguna, then we feel like lazy, we'll feel like sleepy, we feel like very mad, sad. And some people intoxicate, they drink alcohol or drugs or whatever it is. And rajoguna is right in between sattva guna and tamoguna. Under rajoguna, we have unlimited desires. We want to achieve, we want to gain a lot of fame, name, money, fruitive activities, and then there is attraction between the two different genders. So that is rajoguna. And most of the time, we are in rajoguna. Now what happens is that when we under the mode of particular guna, our actions, our choices change. For example, if you are under the mode of sattva guna or rajoguna, then our food choices are different if you are under sattva guna than if you are under the mode of rajoguna or tamoguna. So when you are in the mode of goodness, what sort of food you choose? So you choose nutritious, sweet, juicy, palatable, milk products, grain, sugar, fruits, vegetables. And then when you are under the mode of passion, the fruits you choose is very bitter, sour, salty, pungent, rich, dry, hot. And now what happens with this food? This food causes distress and disease. And then when you are in the tamoguna, most of the people who are in the mode of tamoguna, they choose meat products or fish or eggs because this food is tasteless, stale, putrid, decomposed, unclean. There's a science called food yoga. And food yoga means that you can unite with divinity through food. And I teach this food yoga here in Thunder Bay. So whatever the food you choose, they say you are what you eat. So if you choose the food in the mode of goodness, if you choose green leafy vegetables, fruits, there are scientific studies which have proven that lots of fresh vegetables, fruits have lots of antioxidants, which helps you to fight against the disease. While if you eat meat, it is associated with the cancer. If you eat too spicy or too oily food, it will cause heart disease or ulcers or stomach problems. So those who are yogis, those who are in the mode of goodness, they always try to be vegetarian, or some people have gone vegan now, and they try to avoid too spicy food, too oily food, because that is not healthy for us, So passion and ignorance, if you are in the mode of good passion and mode of ignorance, then you try to choose the food which is in the mode of passion and ignorance. It will cause harm to your body. But if you are in the mode of goodness, the food you will be choosing will be uh, in the mode of goodness. I see there are some questions here. So one question is, can we access the recording after the course is over? Yes, you can. Then what time the today's session is scheduled? Today's session will be scheduled. It will be ending within next half an hour. And can we get intoxicated with spirituality? We'll talk about that later on. We are talking about intoxication, about the material intoxication or the material problems here. So goodness, passion, and ignorance can cover our food. Then our activities. When we are in the mode of goodness, we performed our duty very nicely without attachment. Without attachment means without worry about the fruits of the results, without enviness, without hatredness. And when we perform the actions under the mode of goodness, according to the guidance, then we get happiness actually. While the passion, when you are performing the actions under the passion, you are worried about the fruits. You do very hard, you give great efforts, but then there is an ego there that I want to get all the results. I want to enjoy everything. Well, in the goodness, you try to make it without attachment to the fruits, while here you are attached to the fruits of action. And in the ignorance, people act very violently. Nowadays we had some violence. Some people were in the goodness, like protests were going on. Some people were in the mode of goodness, but then some people became under the mode of ignorance. They became violent, and they start disturbing others' property, distressing others. So these are the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. The actions can be under the different modes. And similarly, the happiness, the source of happiness. If you derive happiness from sleep, some people sleep for 18-20 hours. Some people sleep a lot actually. Or some people are lazy, illusion, and then they don't want to work actually, and they derive happiness from them. So it is a delusion from the end, from beginning to end. Some people derive happiness from the contact with the senses and the sense objects. Like some people, as somebody was saying, some people enjoy drinking alcohol or drugs, or some people enjoy eating oily food. This might be like, if I eating too much oily food, you might feel enjoying now, but the end it will be a problem. And then the mode of goodness. Some people enjoy spirituality. Some people enjoy meditation. Some people enjoy doing yoga or exercises. These are all, it might feel like difficult in the beginning, but end result is really good. Like doing exercise early in the morning, some people might feel that, oh, to get up early in the morning is very, very difficult actually. And that's true. However, if you are determined, then the end result will be good. I want to tell you something about a message of water. Sorry, there was some technical issue here. There is a scientist. His name is Masaru Emoto. And why we are talking about this, because it is related with the karma concept, what we are doing, our diet, our choices, how it affects us. And this is a scientific evidence which will help us to understand the principle of karma and the three modes of nature. How many of you have heard about him? Just before I begin, just type yes or no. Have you heard about Masaru Emoto, Message of Water? Aarti has heard about it. Okay, Gary has heard about it. It's very nice. Some people have heard, some people have not heard. So those who know it, this will reinforce your learning, and those who don't know it, you can share your feelings, your learnings after the course is over, or after the today's class is over. Why do we need to talk about it? Because our actions have deep impact. Our actions have impact not only on our body, but the body around us, people around us also. So Masaru Emoto is a Japanese scientist, and there's a website called hedo.net. You can read more about it. He has done the experiment on the water. He examined the water molecules under special microscope, the crystalline water molecules under the special microscope. And this is one of the picture of the water molecule. So you can see the water molecule, how it looks like, right? It's arranged in a very nice diamond-shaped manner, actually. You can, after this session is over, not now, go on Google, and there are quite a few videos also. This scientist has traveled all over the world. He came to Canada also in 2003. What he does is that he examines these water molecules under the microscope, and without touching these water molecules, he just pronounces certain sound vibrations, or he produces certain sound vibrations. Now here on the left hand side, you can see that there is a water molecule crystalline structure of water molecule, which is arranged in a very nice flowery manner when the water is exposed to the song, a beautiful song, a silent song, a nice song, you know. While on the right side, the same water molecule changes its shape without touching. This is happening in a real time when the water molecule is exposed to the heavy metal music. There's a lot of difference. The same water molecule, but it's different. You can see that the Japanese scientist, he says thank you in a Japanese language, and the water molecule becomes very nicely organized. And the same water molecule changes the shape when exposed to the words like "you make me sick," "I kill you," or sometimes we use these words in our life. So the same water molecule is changing the shape without touching it. On the left side, you see that water crystal before offering the prayers, and water crystals of this Fujiwara Dam in Japan after offering the prayers. These are from the book. These pictures are taken from his book. There are different. He has published a book also, and there are pictures from his page 35 and 37. Then there's a picture on the extreme left after blessing by 500 people. 500 people offering the prayers, and the water molecule is so beautifully arranged. After saying the word love, the water molecule changes its shape. And water, which is blessed with love and gratitude, it changes its shape. And there are many more examples here. We can see that the water molecule is continuously changing the shape, continuously changing the shape. Right? So why do we need to know about this? Because our body is 70% water, and our brain is almost 90% water, actually. So even the finer emotions like words have a power to change the structure of the water. So if we say something under the mode of goodness, like say we all sit together and say, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That was under the mode of goodness. And imagine what happened to the water molecules in our body. The water molecules would have been arranged so nicely, actually, right? But imagine we are under the wrong mode of nature. We are under the mode of ignorance, or we are under the mode of passion. We might be exposing our body as well as our people in the immediate surrounding, because what you say has a deep impact. So our karmas, you can perform the karmas by words, you can perform karmas by mind, or you can perform the karmas by hand. But all these karmas have results. Your words have results, your mind thoughts have results, and your actions have results. So karmas are of different kinds. Subtle karmas, one you cannot even appreciate that you did this karma, but you have done this karma, right? So karmas are basically, somebody was mentioning this before, that there are two types of karma: good karma and bad karma. And that is what we are learning from third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It's all about karma. Once we understand karma, we can understand karma yoga. And the karmas, good karmas means the karmas performed in the mode of goodness. Bad karmas means karmas performed under the mode of ignorance. And karmas performed in the mode of passion or rajoguna can gravitate towards up or gravitates towards down. It is right in the middle. Now, the karmas are of relative nature, which means that their results will fructify immediately or after some time. And I'm sorry. So, for example, Arjuna's duty as a soldier, his duty as a soldier is to fight in the war. Now, while as performing his duty, he might have to kill somebody. But that is his karma, that is his duty as a soldier. But when somebody is killing somebody for, say, sake of money, so here murder versus the killing in the war. Now, if a soldier fights in the war and if he wins for the country, and he might have killed some soldiers on the enemy side, but he gets a medal. Why? Because he has performed his duty. While the same karma of killing is done by somebody for wrong reason, then he gets punishment. So our karmas depend really upon our duty, and the end result, whether it is a good karma or bad karma, depends upon what is the motivation, what is the reason why we are doing that particular type of karma. If I'm killing an animal for my sense gratification, that's a bad karma, right? Similarly, if you are trying to help someone, that's a good karma. But then while trying to help someone is that you want to get something out of it, then that is the relativity of this good karma. It gets diluted. So karmas depend upon the purpose or motivation. So if a soldier is performing his duty, that's the motivation is different than the thief who is breaking your house. Now, 4 pillars of karma of goodness, which is described in Bhagavad Gita, is daya, mercy. But again, mercy has to be applied, compassion has to be applied in a right way. Second principle which is talked in Bhagavad Gita is about truthfulness, cleanliness, and austerity. So as long as our karmas are based on 4 principles of mercy, truthfulness, cleanliness, and austerity, our karmas will be in the mode of goodness. Now, according to scriptures, there are 4 activities. According to Bhagavad Gita, 4 activities should be completely avoided. And number one activity is meat eating, killing animals for no reason, just for our sense gratification. This is against the principle of yoga. And Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that patram pushpam phalam toyam. So he's saying that one should not kill animals. That is ahimsa, is a very important principle of karma yoga. Second is illicit sexual activities, relationship outside the marriage, which is not allowed. Third is intoxication, no austerity. And fourth is the gambling. So all these are generating the bad karmas. And Lord Krishna is saying that any activities performed under the mode of passion or ignorance can fall into these categories. Now, karma has various laws, and there is a first law of karma, which is exactly the Newton's third law. And what is the Newton's third law? Every action has equal and opposite reaction. So whatever the karmas we do, it will come back to you in the same speed, the same velocity in towards you. So every action has equal and opposite reaction. So we have to be very, very careful while doing the karmas. If we are in the mode of goodness, the results will be 100% good. Results will be, because it's going to come back to you. But we don't want to do goodness just because the good will come back to you. We want to do the goodness because we are for the mode of goodness. We are in the mode of goodness. We prefer the mode of goodness rather than mode of passion and ignorance. We don't have to worry about the results. If we are doing the karmas under the mode of ignorance or passion, the end results, we know how it will be, right? But again, we have always want to decide our decision making on our intentions, our end result of it. What is our intention to do this karma? Now, reactions of this karma are usually of two types. One is instant reaction and another is delayed reaction. So instant reaction means that sometimes you do bad karmas, the result will be immediately. If you hit someone, somebody will hit back to you and you will get instant reactions. For example, mustard seed. Mustard seed, if you plant the mustard seed, then the plant will grow within 7 days. Instant reaction. So some of your karma fructifies immediately. However, some karmas have a delayed reaction, just like a coconut tree. If you put a coconut seed, it might take few years for the tree to come. So one might say that I have done bad, nothing has happened to me. Okay, if you have done nothing has happened to you because the seed is a coconut seed, it is going to come back one day or other. And if something comes back immediately, then that is a mustard seed. So karmas can be fructifying immediately or later. Even sometimes not this life, maybe next life. Because again, this is a quote from Bible to understand our karma understanding. The mills of God grain slowly but exceedingly fine. So before we decide to do anything, just think about what mode are we in, what is our intention to do this. Now, there are two varieties of, another varieties is individual karma and then collective karma. Individual means you and me performing the actions. And collective means that we perform the work as a society. Current crisis, which is COVID crisis, it's sort of a collective karma. We have been killing animals for so many years. So many years people have killed animals. And this Hinsa movement has resulted into this virus is spreading rampantly, killing animals for no reason. And this is a collective karma actually. So even though you may not have done it, you have to suffer it because the society at large has done it. So if everybody understands the word karma and everybody tries to perform the karma according to the principles of goodness, then I think we will not have to suffer from the end result of collective karmas. Now, sometimes people say, oh, I was not aware and I did karma. I was very small and I did it by mistake. Sometimes you are driving on the highway and you are driving at a very high speed and police catches you, and you tell police that, oh, I am sorry because I didn't know the rules, or I didn't read the sign. Hear me? Can you please? Can you guys hear me? Just yes or no. Okay, some network issue. People are saying that there is a network issue. Voice is cracking. Voice is breaking. Yeah, it's fine now. Sound is good now. Okay, fine now. Okay, perfect. Okay, great. So thank you so much for the message. Okay, I hope the network improves. So ignorance is not an excuse for laws of karma. Some people say, okay, I have done bad karmas. What do I do now? Because I was not knowing it. Even irrespective of whether you were knowing it or you were not knowing it, the results are going to come back to you. So in the human life, it is our duty to find the laws of nature and karma. If a tiger kills animal, the tiger is not punished. However, if we do kill somebody, we are punished. So we have to be really careful. So with that, let's pause here. I think we have some network issue. Maybe we can take some questions now. I'm going to pause it here. I'm not going to go continue because it looks like we have a network issue here. Can you guys hear me, see me? I don't think so. There is some network problem. Everybody's typing there. Yes. Okay, I'm going to pause here, and it's almost 10 minutes short before we finish our discussion. So we are almost finishing the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita now. So let's have some question answers here. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm willing to answer your questions. Anybody has any questions with regards to today's session? किसी का कोई प्रश्न है? Anybody can ask any questions if they have. We're going to pause here. Any questions? Okay, yes, you will be able to access the recording after 8 weeks, for sure. Does it mean that suffering one goes through is the cause of his or her bad karma? Yes, of course. We get what we have done in the past, so everything is coming back to us. When we realize that we are in the wrong path and take step to correct, do I still pay the price for doing wrong karma done earlier? So that's a very nice question by Hari Kumar ji. So there is always a price to be paid, However, there's a principle called as akarma, which we're going to talk about it in the next session, where there's karma, there's a vikarma, and there's akarma, and we're going to learn that in more detail, that how your karmas, even you do the karma, and you don't get any results of it. So we're going to talk in the next session. But yes, if you do wrong and you take corrected steps, still you may have to pay the price if you have done something bad in the past. Types of laws of action, how many? So karma has law of action, which is every action has equal and opposite reaction. That is the only law of karma. Now I started understanding the spiritual life because I was studying OBGY. Thank you, Charuji. There is a question here from Minakshi Malhotra. Mistakes done in the childhood due to innocence still have to repay? As I said, ignorance is not an excuse. Everybody has to pay the price. However, there are ways to improve upon, and that is what chapter 5th of Bhagavad Gita talks to you about, akarma, and we're going to talk about that as the time goes by. Can we change our past karma? That is, again, we cannot change our past. Only thing that we can do is present, which is in our hand. So we cannot undo whatever we have done in the past, but let's rectify our present movement and then henceforth. Will karma be carried forward in a birth? Of course, karmas are very subtle. They come from this life to next life to next life. Some of the karmas will fructify in this life. Some of the karmas will fructify in the next life. As the mustard seed can fructify in 7 days, or coconut tree may fructify in 1 year or 2 years. Similarly, some of the karmas will fructify in this life, some in the next life. Nikhil is asking, can we clear wrong karmas? We cannot correct the past. We can only correct is our future, present. We cannot do anything about the past. We have done is done, and we don't have to too much focus on that because it's done now. What we have to focus is the present time, and henceforth we will take right action. I have asked on 3 gunas, how can we overcome Rajas guna? Savita ji, thank you so much for your question. Yes, Sattva guna, Raja guna, and Tamo guna. The gunas are depending upon what guna we are, depends upon our environment, our association, the company what we keep, and the thoughts which we associate with. So if we associate with the people in the mode of goodness, we will always be in the mode of goodness. If we associate with the people in the mode of passion, we will be in the mode of passion. And if we associate with the people in the mode of ignorance, we will be under the mode of ignorance. So that is why there are associations of various organizations, like association of yoga practitioners, association of doctors, association of engineers, like that, because that type of people, they associate with each other and they grow in their field. So if we want to really grow in the field of spirituality, we have to associate with the spiritual minded people. Ankita is asking, miss the first class, I can access it? Yes, we will email you, or you will already have received an email. If you have not received, just email me and I will send you the recording. Dishi is asking, how do I repay or know about bad karmas of my past birth? Bad karmas of past birth are beyond our control. What we have done is done. We cannot control it. But if we are suffering now, realize that we have done something in the past. Instead of blaming somebody, one of the thing in our life is that we blame other people in our lives. Somebody hurts you or somebody says bad thing to you, we try to blame them. But maybe we might have done something bad to somebody else. It's coming back to us. Instead of blaming that person, let's understand and let's don't hurt the messenger. He's trying to give you your parcel of karma back to you. So instead of blaming him, let's talk about ourselves rather than blaming somebody else. So yes. Ananda Mahamuniji is asking, does killing mosquito or cockroach just to protect our house is wrong? A very, very intelligent question, Anandji. So sometimes we kill, even while boiling vegetables also, we are killing so many bacteria. Are we performing bad karmas? Yes, of course, we are killing, you are vegetarian, that doesn't mean you're not doing bad karmas. So killing any animal, mosquito or cockroach, is also a bad karma, and it is wrong. There are various methods by which you can keep them away from your house, rather than, like, you can put a mosquito net or something There are various ways of ahimsa whereby which you can practice those things rather than killing them. But if there are too many, like, if they are, like, say there are bacteria in your body and you got an infection, now you have to take an antibiotic and kill them. Why? Because you have to protect yourself. So the karmas are relative, as we discussed, depending upon the situation and the purpose behind it. Belaji is asking, is it that we perform action without worrying about the result? If we do not ask for the result, then how do we get the result? Belaji, very good question. The Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that if you give your 100%, give your 100%, under the guidance of a bona fide teacher or a guru, try to do it 100%. Don't act whimsically, and then you might fail. But if you have proper guidance, proper authority helping you out, and if you give your 100%, then you don't have to worry about the results. You see, results are multifactorial. Like, for example, you plant a seed, but then you looked after the plant very well, you watered the seed and everything, but then all of a sudden there is a hurricane or thunderstorm and the tree is destroyed. I mean, you don't get the fruits. Why? Because certain circumstances were not favorable. But does that mean you stop planting the seed? No, you keep on doing your work. So results are multifactorial. Outcome is multifactorial, dependent on multiple factors. What we depend is on, what we can do is our karma. Thank you, Hari Kumar ji. Thank you, Atul ji. Anjali asking question, how do we get to realize our karma? How do we realize our karma? Well, you can realize your karmas by the fruits. Phalena parichayate. What you are getting now is the result of your karmas. So if you have done good karmas, the good will definitely come back to you. Will karma derives our future? Karma decides our present moment, and karma also decides our future. Helen is saying, will we ever be karma free and move on to somewhere else? Yes, very, very important question by Helen. Karma free, which is called as akarma, and we're going to talk about this in next class. Akarma means that how you do your activities, like say you're boiling the vegetables, you are a vegetarian, you're not killing animals, but still while boiling vegetables, you are killing germs or bacteria, and you're going to get the results. But how can we be karma free? How can we not suffer from even minimal bad karma? That is called akarma. And we're going to talk about that in the next class. Thank you. Then Sanjay is, how do we distinguish between good and bad karma? Again, as I said, good and bad karma is relative. As like killing somebody is bad, but if that same killing is done by a soldier to protect the country, the person is rewarded. If the same karma is done by thief, then he is punished. So it all depends upon what is your intention. Minakshi is asking questions. Sometimes you're doing wrong karmas, but due to ego, you do not want to change yourself. Yes, so we all have an ego. There are two types of ego. One is the ego about your entitlement. I'm this body, I'm the doctor, I'm the engineer, I'm the professor, I'm the teacher. It's all associated with the body. That's a false ego. And when we have a true ego that I am spirit soul, even though I have this body or I might have some title or position, it's not permanent, it's temporary. I might be a doctor now, but after 20 years or 50 years, I will not be a doctor. I might be very multi-millionaire now, but there will be a time when money will disappear. When I die, I will have to leave everything here. So in that case, if you understand that we are a spirit soul And the person across us is also spirit soul. Everybody around us is suffering. Nobody has the perfect life. Everybody has a problem. So instead of we becoming egoistic, try to help ourselves and try to help others. That's the way to go forward. If we understand we are spirit soul, we are so minute, we are so insignificant. Why to have ego? There's no point, right? I hope that helps you. Is thought a karma? Well, you can do karmas by mind also, and yes, thinking something bad about is also karma. Will we ever be karma free and move on to somewhere else? Yes, Helen, we can be karma free, and that is all about Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is telling us about how you can do karma and not get the results of karma, which is called karma free, which is called akarma. And we're going to talk 100% about that in the next class. So stay tuned, Helen. Can be achieved moksha in this life journey? So that is moksha is the liberation or mukti, and we are going to talk about it. Lord Krishna talks about this in Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 18. He talks that Sarva Dharman Parijate Mamekam Sharanam Vrajaha Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Shyami Mahasucha. So that word moksha is in 18th chapter, 65 shloka. You can read about that if you get a chance. But we are going to talk about moksha journey in Bhagavad Gita learning. Hari Kumarji is saying passion is a positive term, but here it is mentioned otherwise. Yes, Hari Kumarji. So passion is called Rajaguna. Passion is like an intermediate platform. So I am passionate about Bhagavad Gita. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? So passion is right in the middle, which can take you up or take you down. If you divert your passion towards goodness, it will take you to the goodness. And that is what I mentioned, that passion is right in between. But then if you take that passion downwards, it will take you to the mode of ignorance. So Rajaguna, if you are passionate about spirituality, you are passionate about yoga practice, you are passionate about helping others, you are passionate about all the good things, then that's good passion. Okay, there is next question is, in a goodness mode, somebody disturbs your mind, how to control? As Lord Krishna said that, Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshnu sukha dukkada agam apaino anityas tamsa titikshava bharata. Titikshava, we talked about titikshava. Titikshava means be tolerant. Somebody disturbs you doesn't mean you get disturbed, right? So we have to tolerate that condition and move on. We have to keep focused on our target, right? We have to be focused about our duty and then move on to that particular thing rather than becoming disturbed. So titikshava, be tolerant, do not get disturbed and proceed further. Savina is asking, so the only way to create balance in the guna is mainly through our association. Association is the key. Association is like, you are what you associate with. If our kids associate with good students, they will become a good students. If they associate with bad people, they will likely have a higher chance becoming bad. So it is all about association, association, and association. That is why there is a word called satsanga in our culture. Satsanga means you associated with the right kind of people. So very important to have satsang. So you create a group. That's why we have a group of Facebook group actually. Yes, Facebook will be like a mode of passion or ignorance sometimes, but we can use the same for goodness also. So like this virtual technology, we are using it to create a satsang. So we have to try to make best use of available facilities so that we can create positive vibrations. Let's see. Only way, okay, Ghazala. So killing COVID virus is a bad karma? Not at all. As I said, it's not a bad at all because it's all relative. We talked about soldier. If a soldier fights in the battlefield for protecting the country, he's doing his dharma, duty. At this time, we have a dharma to save humanity. So I don't think killing COVID virus is a bad karma. It's our, karma result, good or bad, is all depending upon your motivation, your intention about it. Trupti is asking a question. Some people uses our good and kind nature taking for granted. That is very disturbing. Um, as we talked about before, that we have to be tolerant about ignorance of other people. Somebody is doing bad. That's why we stop doing good. It doesn't make sense. Even people are not able to understand your nature. It doesn't mean that you change your nature of goodness. And goodness is like a contagious. If you are in the mode of goodness, if you are calm and quiet, people will understand that why should I disturb? And then even after they disturb and you remain calm and quiet, once you make them fail, they will not try again. So if people try to disturb you, don't get disturbed, or just keep on doing what you're doing. Thank you, Nipaji. Thank you, Jennifer. This session was very in-depth and provides a lot of meditation. Thank you, Jennifer. Vinay saying, if I'm exploiting money from one person and giving that money to needy people, so I'm under the good karma or bad karma. Again, Vinayji, it's all about what is your intention, but that does not mean if you have a good intention, doesn't mean that you exploit others. That might be a bad karma. Even though you're doing good, exploiting is not good at all. So I would try to find other means rather than exploiting people. Thank you, Sureshji. Thank you, Deepakji. Thank you, Deepika. Thank you, Bella. Thank you, Kajal. A lot of insight in being installed during this session. Thank you so much, Kajalji. Thank you, Rupaliji. Rupali is saying that having the opportunity to perform bhakti or even listen to such knowledge session like Bhagavad Gita could result of good karma. We are doing absolutely, this is in the mode of goodness, and end result will be definitely good. You all are spending your valuable time. Again, we have to be very important that just knowledge is not important. Application of knowledge is very important. So knowledge without application is of no value. If I'm a doctor, I went to the medical school, but if I don't treat any patients, my knowledge has zero value. So once we have a knowledge, we understand it, and then we go further, apply it in our life. Thank you, Anjali ji. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you, Gazla. Thank you, Bansi. A very insightful session. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jigna. Seema is asking, is correcting someone who has hurt you is a bad karma? You can try to correct someone, but unless and until the relationship is all about relationship. Lord Krishna didn't correct Arjuna until he was student. As long as he was a friend, Lord Krishna didn't try to correct him. So correcting somebody without authority doesn't make impact. So if you have a relationship as authority, then it really makes a change in that person's life. Thank you, Meenakshi. Thank you, Jigna. What is moksha? Moksha means, Jigna has a question. Moksha, we are not talking about moksha today. We talked about karma. Moksha means liberation or freedom. And freedom can be from anything. Freedom from moksha, from anxiety, moksha, or freedom from the stress, freedom from your karmas, freedom from repeated birth and death. So we'll talk as the time goes by in the 18th chapter. There's a lot of instruction about moksha. Thank you, Arti. Thank you, Dattatreya. Thank you, Meenakshi ji. Meenakshi saying total being into awareness leads us to be karma free. To be karma free is into awareness. Total being into awareness. So awareness is very important, and the awareness that what is our purpose about doing the karma. That's very important awareness, and that definitely helps us to stay away from bad karma. Thank you, Rupali. Thank you, Hiral. Thank you so much. Rupal is writing smooth understanding of difficult concept. Bhavna is saying, thanks a lot for today's session. Very nice explanation. We missed the first session. Can I get recording? Yes, I can. I will send you the recording of first session. Just send me an email if I forget it. Thank you, Bhavna. Thank you, Hemlata. Harikumar ji. Thank you, Harikumar. Uh, Rupali is saying, okay. Then Hemal. Then Vinay, when we know we are means the self-realization and perform actions or duty, does the karma attach to us? Self-realization means that we understand that we are a spirit soul, we are not this body, and we do our karmas to satisfy the soul. All the karmas has to be directed towards the satisfaction of the soul. Then that really helps us to achieve the self-realization. Trupti, Swati, thank you. Thank you, Archana. Oh, yeah, I'm going to send you the Facebook link. Let me send you the Facebook link right now. 1 second while I have you all. I'm going to send you the Facebook link of the Facebook group. We have a WhatsApp group where we are posting one shloka every day. So you are most welcome to join the Facebook group, and you can ask the questions there. We are trying to explain one shloka from Bhagavad Gita every day from the Facebook group. So let me. My computer is internet is little slow, but I'm going to post it. If you even go to there is no WhatsApp group actually. WhatsApp group is very difficult to manage. I find Facebook group is easy to manage. So we have a Facebook group, and I'm just posting the link. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to post one more. Just a second. I'm going to post a link here so that you can join the Facebook group and be in contact with all of us. So here is the link. Okay, the link is on your way. So just click the link, and you may have to answer like 3 questions before you join the link, and then you will be able to enter. Just these features are for the security reasons that we want to prevent unauthorized access to the group. So here is the link. Click it. Okay, sir, your voice on the Facebook video is very bleak. Kindly be louder. Oh, sure, Rupaliji. I will try to improve the voice quality on the videos. Yes, thank you so much. Reena, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So I really appreciate everybody who joined today's session. Really appreciate, and please join us for the next session on next Saturday, same time, 6:30 p.m. India time and 9 o'clock Eastern time in Canada and USA. Thank you so much. There's one more question here. How do we access the Facebook book link? Oh, Facebook link. I just sent the Facebook link. Just click that thing and you will be able to join it. Just there might be 2-3 questions. One question will be how many shlokas in Bhagavad Gita? All of you know 700 shlokas. How many chapters in Bhagavad Gita? 18 chapters in Bhagavad Gita. It will ask you your email address, and then it will ask you why do you want to join the Facebook group. So just type whatever you feel like, and you will enter into the Facebook group. Thank you again. Have a nice weekend to everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.